I have a story here that's beyond outrageous and completely heartbreaking. Razan al-Najjar was a Palestinian medic. She's a young woman, and she's been helping people at the front line of the protests in Gaza. Well, she was murdered by an Israeli sniper. So this is a clip from the New York Times about a month before her death.
شرط يكون الإسعاف بس للراجل لا برضه للمرأة لأنه في كتير حالات بتلاقي إصابات نساء مين بدي يتعامل معهم صح ممكن الإسعاف بس برضه يعني إحنا إلنا دور كبير في هذا الإشي إحنا هدفنا واحد هو بس إنقاذ وإخلاء ونوصل رسالة للعالم إنه إحنا بدون سلاح قادرين نعمل كل إشي. احنا هاي الخيمة هي الخيمة اليومية بتختص احنا كمتطوعين احنا كل يوم بنكون موجودين في هذا المكان. هذا حب انتمائنا للوطن يعني هذا عمل انساني ما بدنا عليه مقابل احنا بدنا نقدر تعبنا الله بس مش مستعد مش يعني ما بدنا مقابل من اي حدا لا رواتب ولا توظيف بدناش. كتير سألوا بابا بنتك هاي طب ما بتاخد راتب هيك حكى لهم انا بنتي بفتخر فيها انها بتقدم اشي انساني لابناء وطني يعني كمان بنت وخصوصي احنا المرأة عنا منتقدة كتير في المجتمع بس المجتمع لازم يتقبلنا غصبا عنه لو بدوش يتقبلنا بإرادته بيتقبلنا غصبا عنه لأن احنا عنا قوة أكتر من أي راجل. القوة اللي احنا بنمتلكها القوة اللي استرجلت فيها كأول مسعفة في الأسبوع الأول بتحدى ألاقيها عند أي شخص يعني.
So, she was wearing her white, medic outfit. I think you can see it here. Yeah, that one right there. And she was going to help somebody, and she had her hands in the air. And an Israeli sniper from hundreds of yards away shot her and killed her. So that is, that's not only murder, that's terrorism. The definition of terrorism is doing violence for a political or religious reason against civilians. That's exactly what happened here. Now, of course, you're going to see the framing in most outlets in U.S. media is ridiculous. They frame it, the way they always do. Medic dies serving in Gaza or something like that. Dies, as if like, hey, did she have a heart attack or what happened? Was it cancer? She died. No, there's always like an attempt to obfuscate around the true nature of what happened, which is the IDF murdered an innocent medic, also known as committed a terrorist act here. And I'm perpetually stunned by the lack of serious reflection on stuff like this in U.S. media. I'm stunned by the lack of a response from the Democratic Party. I'm stunned by the total lack of any acknowledgement whatsoever from Republicans and from the Trump administration. Because, we often talk about how whenever we commit atrocities or whenever our allies commit atrocities, it's kind of swept under the rug, but it's hyped up when our official state enemies commit atrocities or allegedly commit atrocities. But I've never seen such starker examples of this. This is something that everybody across the world is talking about. Everybody across the world is talking about this. Every, media outlet in other countries. This is a huge deal. This is a giant scandal. They're now murdering female medics with their hands up who just try to help people. There's not even a stretch of a theoretical argument that, hey, maybe somehow in some weird way she was a threat. Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. But the IDF feels so fucking emboldened because they always get away with their crimes that they say, who the fuck cares? I'm going to get away with it if I fucking murder this female medic anyway, so I'm going to do it. And that's what's happening. They're going to get away with it. Now, Israel said, we launched an investigation into what happened here. Isn't that hilarious? That's like fucking Bernie Madoff going, did I do something wrong? I'm going to launch an investigation into what I did wrong. Bernie, methinks you have a conflict of interest. That's what I think. This is the same shit. They murder her, and then they're like, you know what? Maybe there was a problem here. We're going to investigate it. And then don't be surprised when they come back and say, it turns out they acted totally within their legal bounds. So this is, it's inexcusable, man. It's inexcusable. Something like this, in a world that made sense, something like this, and this actually already would have happened fucking years ago, the U.S. would look at this and go, oh, we're cutting off all military funding to you. We're not going to sell any more weapons to you. We're not going to give any more subsidies to you. Why are we subsidizing you anyway? You're doing permanent apartheid and illegal occupation. By the way, in Israel, they have universal health care. We don't have it in the United States. But we can subsidize them. Bitch, you subsidize us. We don't have universal health care. You do. So, in a world that made sense, they would immediately go, oh shit, look at what you're doing with our money. Look at what you're doing with our weapons. You're murdering innocent people. You're committing terrorism. That's it. We're done. We're not funding you anymore. Are you fucking crazy? Funding a terror apartheid state? What a fucking joke. Are you kidding me? But no, because we don't actually make decisions around the world based on human rights and altruism and justice and world policing. We do it based on, are you with us or are you against us? Oh, you're one of our top allies. You get to do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Doesn't matter. If you're our official state enemy, you do 1/100th what happened here, and we're going to fucking talk about regime change. Has any of the neocons come out and said, maybe it's time to do regime change in Israel? I mean, look, they're a rogue state committing terror attacks, violating international law. What are we going to do? We got to topple them. We have no choice. I'm calling for a bombing. I mean, they bombed Syria before even having an investigation because they said, we think that they used chemical weapons. They didn't even have an investigation. They were like, guilty. Who cares? Go bomb. Is anybody talking about going to bomb Netanyahu? When we know that the IDF guaranteed 100% is massacring innocent civilians on purpose. Nobody's talking about that. So understand, your government is lying to you, and the media is lying to you. And everything you've been told every step of the way about who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Look at the situation objectively and determine what's going on. Don't give me the nonsense. Only democracy in the Middle East. Yes, they care about human rights so much that they assassinate young female medics. By the way, she's also, and you heard a little, piece of it there too, with how she was describing what she does. Oh, in our society, women are often looked down upon and things of that nature. She's also, a feminist. So what happened? The people on the Israeli side often talk about, these backwards Muslims. That's the problem with their primitive ideas. Well, here's somebody who's a young female medic who spoke about nonviolence in that clip and said, without weapons, we can do anything. So peaceful resistance is the heart of what she's in favor of. She's in favor of reforming Palestinian society to be more pro-woman. This is everything that Israel pretends to want on the other side. Oh, the violent resistance is the problem. Why don't you guys do peaceful resistance? Why don't you guys do peaceful resistance? And why are you so bad to women? Treat women better. So here comes a woman fighting from a feminist perspective for an equal society, equal treatment of women, arguing in favor of non-violent resistance, and they fucking murdered her. They murdered her. They did a terror attack against her when she's everything that they claim to want out of the opposition. Somebody who's in favor of liberal values, somebody who's in favor of equality, somebody who's not in favor of violent resistance, she's in favor of non-violent resistance. Somebody who dedicated her life to helping people. And what did they do? They fucking murdered her in cold blood. Netanyahu is a war criminal. He should rot in a prison cell for the rest of his life. And whoever in the IDF did this, the same thing should happen to them. And the United States should immediately cut all subsidies to Israel and fucking sanction their punk asses and force them to make a deal with the Palestinians. But we all know that's never going to happen because we are not a country that cares about human rights and civil liberties and justice and peace. If we did care about those things, we would take the actions I just recommended.